Today I'd like to talk about support your local whatever. You need to think outside the box when you're fish keeping. You need to do things in a different way than you normally do them, because sometimes you're faced with situations where normal patterns of doing things don't work. Your local fish store, your local big box fish store, your local clubs, your local libraries, all of these local things will only be there for you to use as long as you support them. And support means money, talking to, joining, all of these things. My point of interest today is pleco caves. This tank houses 6 L260 Queen Arabesque plecos. That's the point of the tank for me. It's a display tank, but I also want to be able to breed these L260s if possible. And by breeding, I mean them doing the breeding, me just doing the work to get them to a place where they can breed. So, I spent a lot of time looking online. I saw all kinds of prices and all kinds of caves. One of the things I try to do is save as much money as I can where it's possible. Sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes you just have to spend the money. But it's a good idea if you're on a budget or a fixed income to try to save money where you can. And pleco caves online can be outrageously expensive. Sure, I could go to my local fish store, and I do, but their prices are pretty high too. So I thought about this and I thought about it. Finally, I decided these caves are made out of clay, most of them, some slate, some other materials, but a lot of them that you're going to buy online are made from clay. So I started thinking about where I could go to make something out of clay, and of course, that's a clay studio. They have kilns, they have the clay, they have the tools you need. So I'd like to give a great big shout out to my local clay studio, which is AA Clay, and I will give the URL and some pictures. I called Alex up on the phone. I talked to him about what it was that I wanted to do. He suggested that I first take a short class, then pay for my clay, and then pay an hourly fee for my studio time, which all seemed pretty reasonable to me. So I went in and talked to Alex, got to know him a little bit, told him what it was that I was trying to do, made him look online so he could see what it was that I was trying to do and look at videos to see how the plecos use the caves. He picked the clay for me, told me that this was probably the best clay that I could use. He showed me how to roll the clay to get all the air out of it, to fold it and push it and knead it. Then he took me over to a device he had mounted on the wall, which was a clay extruder. We put a 2-inch extruder plate in the bottom of it. I smashed up my rolled up ball of clay until it would fit down into the extruder. We pulled the lever down and out came a long clay tube. And we cut it off at appropriate lengths. I carried it over to the table. I used a yardstick to stick through it and press down on each side to get my triangle, and I learned how to make my own pleco caves. And I think that's something that people that are in the fish hobby need to do. You need to learn how to make your own. You need to learn how to expand your horizons. You need to learn to think outside the box. I didn't save that much money, but I saved quite a bit of money compared to what I would have paid online to have them shipped to me or at my local fish store or big box chain. Now, it's important to support all of those, but in this instance, I think supporting my local clay studio was just as important. It took me a while. It took me almost an hour. I made 7 caves, which you see in the tank. Of course, my plecos are nowhere near them. They prefer the driftwood and the holy rock that I have in this tank. But when breeding time comes around, if they don't find a spot in the holy rock that's closed in, then maybe they'll come and start using these caves, because that's what happens with plecos. The male traps the female in the cave. The cave has to be the proper size for him to be able to prevent the female from being able to escape. So there you have it. I plan to do a long series of support your local whatever. Good luck.